This is 100% game changing, and no one is talking about this about the day before. Today, I'm going to talk to you guys about something that's in the game that I haven't heard no one talk about, no one address, but it is a complete game changer when it comes to playing the game, and that is a thing called traits, aka perks, or aka skill points. If you didn't know, the game does offer the ability of adding traits to your character, and in addition to that, you will be able to get these by earning trait points. I haven't heard no one actually talk about this, and it's something that's going to change the way you play the game. Today we're going to dive in, take a look at these perks, and find out how these might be game changing and how every other character that you play with, or friend or teammate that you play with, could change the dynamic of the way the battlefield is actually played in the game. Remember, PvP is a main priority of this game, and being prepared is one of the most important things. That's where you want to make sure you know these perks, what they do, and how to get them. All right, so let's take a look at the perk menu. This is what it looks like, guys. As you notice right here on the top left-hand side, we have trait points. These are points that you're able to obtain. I'm pretty sure these are obtained by completing missions and objectives in the game. Once you have these points, you have two sets of kind of columns. You have the positive column and you have the negative column. In addition to that, you have an additional column that is the select column. This is where you're going to be applying these specific traits. Let's take a look at the positive traits, aka perks, for your skill tree and see what they provide as far as the advantage is concerned. The first one we have is called First Aid. This means medication grants 10% more health. So this means if you guys are in the battlefield, you're fighting someone, and you want to make sure you get your health back up, boom, bada bing, you apply the medication, the first aid, perk in your inventory, you guys should be good to go. The next one we have is called Emergency Aid. This is going to be giving you guys the ability to apply medicine 10 times faster. I think these two perks, the first aid and the emergency aid, kind of go hand in hand because you want to make sure you get that 10% extra health, but you want to make sure you get that health, applied to you, as quickly as you possibly can. Then we have Field Surgeon, which means any buffs last 10% longer. Now, as buffs right now, we currently don't know what these buffs are, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be some really good ones. The next one we have is called Camel, and it says all drinks quench thirst more effectively by 25%. Now, remember, in the game, it does require you guys to have a bit of survivability, and one of those survivability elements is being able to drink and eat food at the same time. So you're going to want to make sure you drink water, basically. And if you're not drinking water, you should theoretically get up right now out of your chair after you finish watching this video and go drink some water. Then we have another one called Nutritionalist, and this means any food satisfies hunger more effectively for 25%. Remember, the longer time you're able to spend within the game, the more you'll be able to last longer. But in order for you to last longer, you need to drink water and eat food, and these two are pretty good, and they kind of go hand in hand. Now, each one of the ones we've seen so far costs pretty much 2 trait points. So as you see, that's why that number is highlighted there. The last one we have is called Decreased Thirst. It says you need 35 less water to quench the thirst. So once again, this is tying in with the water, and pretty much the other one that we have, guys, as far as positive traits are concerned. The next one we have is called Lower Appetite. You're going to need 35% less food to satisfy hunger. And last but not least, we have another one called Sniper, which you hold your breath 10% longer while using your scope. Now, these are based on the positive. Now, apart from positive ones, guys, we also have negative ones. We're going to be taking a look and diving into those right now. Now, remember, you're able to put in negatives and you're able to put positives within your selected inventory. And the reason you're probably asking is, Laser, why the heck would I want to put negatives inside my perk column? Now, the reason for that being is the way the system works in the game. The game is tailored for you to apply negatives, and when these negatives are applied, it gives you 2 points, and these additional points allow you to put in a positive. So if you guys notice, if we look at the negative column, when we take a look at one of the perks, for example, this one called Allergic, this one's going to give you, medication gives you 10% less health. But if you notice right next to the kind of on the right hand side, there's a +2. When you apply this into your inventory, it's going to give you 2 points. So then later on, you can go into the positive column and apply another one, which will give you a negative. And that's going to bring you down to 0 perk points. Now, if you want to get additional perk points, you're going to have to apply negatives. And it's going to be kind of like a wiggle room deciding which negatives to apply and which positives to apply to not only mitigate or to better your experience. Of course, once a game gets releases, I'll have extensive guides on what are the best negatives, what are the best positives, so you guys know exactly what to apply. But with that being said, let's take a look at these negative columns. So we already talked about allergic, which is medication gives you 10% less health. The next one we have is called good appetite. It says you need 35% more food to satisfy your hunger. Then we have excessive thirst, which we already talked about. You need 35% more water to quench your thirst. We have allergic, which is medication gives you 10% less health. We have hemophobia, which is you apply medication 10% slower. Now that's going to be kind of like a little bit of a killer, because imagine how slow that's going to be, which is something that you really need to do a lot in the game, right? Then we have feeble, which is going to make you carry capacity is decreased by 10%. Now, the one thing to note about this one in particular, you're able to kind of compensate this one, because if you get a larger backpack, you'll be able to carry more. So that 10% might not hurt you that much. But like, once again, some of these we definitely need to test whenever the game comes out, so we could know exactly how they, how they work. Then we have another one called Lazy Bones. This is going to allow you to loot 30% slower. Now, this one looks like it's going to hurt quite a lot, because imagine looting 30% slower. That's going to be a big hit when it comes to, especially playing a game that, it relies heavily on looting. But, we just don't know how fast looting is. Then we have one called Out of Shape. It's your stamina drains 5% faster. So this one might be a little bit of a nuisance, because, stamina is really important in these games, especially when you're trying to fight zombies, or you're trying to get away zombies, and you're trying to make sure, you don't get hit by the zombie. Now, that's not even counting the PvP aspect of it, because if you have a PvP battle, stamina is actually pretty clutch here. So that's going to be an interesting one to apply. Then we have one called Clumsy. Is you draw out and switch weapons 5% slower. Now, this Clumsy one seems to be one that I would probably pick as far as a negative one, because it doesn't seem like it's going to be taking too much of a hit when it comes to playing the game, but I just don't know. There's a couple things we need to test here. Then we have one called Asthmatic, and this one says you hold your breath 10% less when using the scope. So this is mostly for sniping or using those marksman rifles. As of right now, which weapon is more tailored for this game, we don't know. It's very hard to determine how the PvP engagements are going to be, or how the zombie engagements are going to be, if a sniper is viable or not viable. So this might be another one that might fit really well there, where you're not going to be noticing too much of a problem while using it, right? So those are the ones we currently are able to see from within the menu. Now, with that being said, guys, I'm pretty sure there are other ones that we're going to have to just wait till we get the game. Now, whether we're going to have access to this menu as soon as the game launches, I don't know, or if this is something that's going to be automatically unlocked as you progress to the story. That's something we're going to have to find out, and I'm eager to find that out with you guys. So if you guys want to stay up to date to everything that has to do with the game, and you want to get the best tips, the best gameplay, and just want to become the best player in this particular game, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on all those notifications so you guys won't miss our videos. Remember, we're the #1 spot for all things FPS. So if you're looking to get better at a game and just become an expert, then this is your #1 channel to do that. With that being said, guys, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next video.